Welcome to Practical Budgeting, or learning the nitty-gritty of creating budgets. My name is Summer Red, and today we're going to go through the specific details of creating a budget. Let's start with the 4 steps of budgeting. The first step is to think about your financial future. Imagine your life when your finances are exactly the way you want them to be. Don't think about numbers, but about your lifestyle. Do you want to travel a lot? Own a house? Have kids? Whatever you are imagining, that is your financial vision. This is a vital step to budgeting because if you don't know where you want to end up financially, it's going to be impossible to get there. The next step is to write down your income and expenses and decide how much you want to put aside for your savings plan. Let's start with income. This can include wages, tips, commissions, living stipends, royalties, investment or retirement income, SNAP, TANF, and more. Anything that increases your ability to pay bills or purchase items counts as income. Expenses can get a bit more complicated because they tend to come in a lot of different options. When thinking of expenses, most people remember to include monthly expenses like housing, groceries, utilities, including gas and electric, car payments, childcare, and cell phone. Just to be on the safe side, look over the last couple of months of bills that you've paid, often something you can see on bank statements, to make sure that you aren't missing an important monthly expense. Once you've finished with your monthly expenses, it's time to write down costs that come less often or aren't on a fixed schedule. These can be easy to forget since they usually don't happen every month. Some common examples are taxes, such as income or property tax, insurance, including medical and car insurance, presents for birthdays or holidays, clothing, and more. Think about how you spend money on your family or with your friends and add that to the list. Don't forget to include expenses for entertainment and treats. What do you do if you have an expense that varies from month to month? Or what if your income isn't the same each month? In these cases, you should budget low for uncertain income and high for uncertain expenses. Usually the easiest way to do this is to take the lowest paycheck you've gotten while at a job and assume that is what your paycheck will always be. For utilities, budget each month for the highest bill. A savings plan is also important. If you ever want to make a big purchase or go on an expensive vacation, you'll probably have to save up for it. And without emergency savings, your entire financial plan can be ruined by a single car accident or an unexpected medical expense. Most financial experts recommend having emergency savings to cover at least 3 months of expenses. If possible, 6 months or even a year's worth of emergency savings can be invaluable in the event of a family catastrophe. If you've never practiced saving before, or if you feel like you have too little money to save, set a small savings goal to start. Even if it's just $5 or $10 a month, you'll get into the habit of saving regularly. As your income grows, be sure to increase your savings goal over time. Once you've established emergency savings and have gotten into the habit of saving regularly, create a couple of savings goals for yourself. Keep the goals SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. An example of a SMART goal is to save $100 a month for a year to pay for a nice vacation, assuming, of course, that you can afford to save $100 a month. Step 3 is to create your budget. You can either create your own template or find one online. There are literally millions of options out there. Here's an example of a budgeting template. Notice that the template is for a full year rather than for a month. You'll also see that the income sources are grouped together, as are the expenses. Why budget for a full year? Studies have shown that people who budget monthly underestimate their expenses by 40%, while people who budget annually are within 3% of their actual expenses. Why? Because annual budgets require you to plan for occasional expenses, like insurance, or car repairs, or holiday gifts. Once you have a template, fill in your income and expenses. If necessary, add additional rows to include less common income and expenses. Don't forget those occasional expenses, like car insurance and gifts. Then add up all of your income to get your total income. Do the same to get your total expenses. Subtract the expenses from the income to see how much money you'll have left at the end of the month. Because your expenses will vary from month to month, you might end up with negative numbers some months. That's okay, as long as you have savings to cover those negative months. Another reason to save. The important thing is to add up all of your monthly totals for the entire year. If the answer is negative, then you're spending more than you make and will need to adjust your expenses. If you're only spending a few dollars more than you make, you might be able to make minor changes, like being more careful with your electric usage. If you are spending a lot more than you make, then you'll need to consider larger changes, like getting a cheaper apartment or finding roommates. If subtracting expenses from income leaves you with a positive number, then you aren't spending as much as you make. In that case, reward yourself. One option is to put half of the extra money into increasing your savings plan and use the other half of the money for something fun each month. The final step is to track your spending. The easiest way to do this is to use a blank copy of your budgeting template. Just write in the actual amount that you spent in each category. At the end of each month, compare your actual spending to what you budgeted. If you spent more than planned, ask yourself whether it was a special circumstance, like your car broke down or someone is getting married and you need an engagement present, or if it's something that's happening regularly. For example, you buy twice as many coffees as you budgeted for. If it's a one-off, leave your budget as is. If it's something that's happening consistently, however, you should adjust your budget to accommodate the higher expense. Keep in mind that this might require reducing an expense somewhere else. It's all about priorities. Congratulations! You've just completed your budget and have taken the first step on the road to your financial future.